Welcome everybody. Today's video is a little bit different than what I usually post. This one is really directed at those that are new to tools or new to using them. Now, if you're not new to tools, don't run off, don't tune out. At the end, I got a challenge for you. I think it'll be worth your while. I want to start by telling you guys a quick story. My wife and I, we fly up to Northern Washington a couple times a year to see my grandmother. On this trip, we were just going to be there, a couple of days. We arrive, it's late at night. The next morning we get up, we're having breakfast, that kind of thing. And I noticed on the ground that she had a new light fixture. And I asked her about it, and she said, "Oh, that's just a new light for above my table here, but don't worry about it. I've called somebody and they're going to come and install it for me." Now, obviously, being a handyman, there's no way I was going to let that happen. But of course, when I flew in, I didn't have any tools with me. So I asked her if she had any tools. And I kid you not, she pulled out one of those small, very pink toolkits with a few basic hand tools in it. Nothing was special about it. It was extremely cheap. But you know what? Using two tools out of that kit, I was able to replace that light fixture, and I probably saved her well over $200. So the moral of the story is even cheap tools can be better than not having any tools at all, even if you're not handy. So if you're watching this because you're new to tools, I want to encourage you to assemble a small toolkit just like this, because as I just gave you that example, just having a few cheap tools on hand, could empower you, a spouse, a kid, or even someone that's just visiting to come by and tackle that nagging little repair. So here are the tools that I think everybody should have in a small basic toolkit in their household. We've got the king of all hand tools, the hammer. The hammer's been around for millions of years, some sort of blunt object for tapping and putting things into position, putting in nails in the wall, pulling them out, that kind of thing. The adjustable wrench. This takes the place of having like a whole selection of wrenches that you might see in an automotive shop or something like that. Obviously, you're not going to do any real heavy lifting with it, but instead of having a bunch of wrenches, the adjustable crescent style wrench serves a good function for that. Next up, we got a couple pair of pliers. Pliers are great for a variety of things. You can grab things, anything that might not be perfectly round. These particular ones are the needle nose plier. I use these. This was one of the two tools that I used to replace that light fixture for my grandmother. It's got a little wire cutter built in, and I use the needle nose part to twist over the wires. Next up, we got a box cutter. This is a Stanley brand. It holds some blades inside of it. Every toolkit should have a utility knife. It's good for cutting open boxes, cardboard, cutting rope, that kind of thing. Now we get to our screwdrivers. There are hundreds of variety of screwdrivers, many different sizes, many different tips that you can get on these screwdrivers. This is a Harbor Freight set that came, I think, with 10 different screwdrivers. These are the most common head sizes. You've got a number 1 Phillips head, which is fairly small. And you got your number 2 Phillips head, which is probably the most common size around here in the Americas. And then we got the slotted. It's good for tightening up screws on wall plates, and a lot of old houses have flathead screws all over the place. And to round up the screwdrivers, we've got this little Stanley micro screwdriver. It also has a number 1 Phillips, but then it has a number 0. It's great for tightening small screws, especially removing and replacing batteries in kids' toys and that kind of thing, tightening a pair of glasses on the hinges. Over here on the left, we've got a level. This is an old Sears one that I've had for many years. It's just a 8-inch level. Something like this is great for hanging pictures, making sure they're level, or a table like this. If you're on an uneven surface or an uneven floor, you can adjust the legs so that the table is level. Round in the corner here, I've got a set of hex keys or Allen keys. I think having a metric version, which is what this is in the toolkit, is more important than having both sizes. Obviously, these things aren't very expensive, and you can get both sizes, but just about every type of flat pack furniture in general, fasteners around the house are going to be metric these days. Even here in America, where a lot of the fasteners are transitioning to metric. And the last tool here on the table is a tape measure. This is a 6-foot version. It's made by FastCap. They make some of my most favorite tape measures. They're great for people that are just learning. You can hand it to just about anybody, and they can read it down to the 1/16 of an inch. Each tick mark there is labeled. You can read it upside down, or what some people would consider upside down. They make great tape measures. I use them in all my construction projects. Of course, I have the big 35-foot Stanley, and the 200 foot and the 100 foot tapes. They make these fast cap versions in 16 foot and 20 foot. They've got a little pad on them where you can, write a measurement after you've taken it, and they're extremely inexpensive. Before I move to conclude this video, I just want to say that all of these tools right here can be had very inexpensively, especially if you like to go to yard sales, rummage sales, that kind of thing. A pair of pliers like this can be picked up for $1. Something like this can be picked up brand new. A blade like this can be picked up brand new for $2 or $3. Screwdrivers are really inexpensive, especially at places like Harbor Freight. You really don't need to spend more than like $15 or $20 to assemble a small kit like this. And then, of course, where are you going to put it all? I've got this old Craftsman canvas bag that I've had for years. I have several of these. I use them for all sorts of portable tool kits. Getting something like this, or a little toolbox that you can put in a drawer underneath the sink, because you want to keep all this stuff together so that you can find it when you need it. Now, if you don't want to go around hunting for all this stuff, there is another alternative, kind of along the same theme as the pink screwdriver kit. Now, here's a kit that I just picked up from Harbor Freight with a coupon. It has just about every tool in here that we've talked about, with the exception of the knife. And this thing's got a hammer, a crescent style wrench. It's got screwdriver bits and Allen keys and needle nose and some side cutters and a level, and a tape measure that I've tested against my fast cap that is just as accurate, especially up to the 6 foot that I could test it with. For $15, you really can't go wrong with this. I could replace light fixtures, wall plugs, assemble furniture, tighten hinges, and dozens of other repairs around someone's home if they had this kit on hand. So for those of you that are watching that aren't new to tools, I told you that I would have a challenge for you at the end of the video. If you've got tons of tools laying around like this that you're not using, my challenge to you is to assemble a small basic kit like this, put it in a bag, put it in a small box, gift it to that friend, gift it to a neighbor, leave it at your grandma's house, or give it to your kid that you're kicking out. Because again, even cheap tools is better than having no tools at all, even if you're not handy. If you enjoyed this video, smash that like button. And those of you that have lots of tools like this, leave a comment. Let everybody know which one of these tools maybe you used in an unexpected way. Thanks for watching.